Ahoy, sailor! This is your captain, Papi Bazooka, and in this video, I will show you how you are able to create your own charts for OpenCPN. Now, there are other tools out there than OpenCPN. This is the one I prefer and I use. It's really flexible. I used to map some of my trip and track my progress for celestial navigation. So if you haven't watched those video, go to my channel, go to the playlist for navigation, and that will show you some additional tools that OpenCPN can do for you. Now, OpenCPN, which is a free uh, tool, on the website, you can also download a series of free map. And these are all those red rectangle that you see there for this region. And there are others. Those are the one I have currently loaded. Uh, but it does not cover everything, especially if you go to like around Australia, or if you go around Africa or South America or even Europe and Africa. The free charts are going to be pretty limited. And so it comes to a point where obviously you want something better than this because this really doesn't tell you much, right? Um, and you want to get a better definition of what is out there for your navigation so you can actually see the depth, you can see the lights, you can see boat wrecks and things like that, right? As an example, I typically do my own chart for places I'm planning on going to. And the reason for that is because when you're making your own charts, if you want to make them at a decent zoom level to see the details, uh, it will take quite a bit of room. Uh, you have the choice of using zoom level, but every zoom level you go in requires 4 times the data. So it could at one point be a lot to download, a lot to save to your hard drive. So I typically only do the one I want to go to. Like I had just a trip I finished, and I was basically going here from this island here all the way to this group island here in Cape Verde. And so I created my own chart here. And as you zoom in, you will see that I need to activate it, of course. You see now that I am actually getting details, right? And I can zoom in and I can get information there, like days of light, hours there. I can see some depth and so on. Now, this method is using what is called MB tiles. Um, they are good representation, but word of caution, you would not want to use this if you were sailing with like real boat, real life, right? Those could have some errors. They could be off a few feet. They could be half a mile, they could be half a nautical mile. So you need to be aware of that. And as you're going to install the tools that you need to create those charts, you will actually have that as a reminder. But of course, for Sailaway tree, this is plenty good enough. Right? And you are able to download these as navigation map. As you can see here, you can use uh, Google Earth representation, where you actually see satellite. There's a lot of map format available, and you're going to be able to basically bring whatever type of map you want, right? But keep in mind that yes, those MB tiles can actually take a lot of room, right? And uh, one of the reason why I'm not spending my time doing the entire world, right? I'm only doing this for where I want to go. The free map that come for OpenCPN, then of course those are really good. It's got really all the details that you want. There we go. So this is one loading here. Come on. I want this one. Sometime if you're using those button, you need to, there we go, uh, click and activate them. But as you see here, you can really zoom really close in, right? And those are not using MB tiles, right? These are actually from the Navy, and there's a set of shots that are available. So it's got really all the details, right, at a really great level of zoom, right? So those MB tile will be a little bit different, but it can also have as much details of this depending of what zoom level you want to do your chart, right? Okay, so what do we need? Well, we need a few things, and I've put all the links and the details in the description of this video. I also want to mention that somebody from OpenCPN created their own video for this with much more details that I'm going to go through. And I have put a link for that video as well. So please feel free to go and check that out, right? I don't want to take all the credit that I came up with this. Some other people did, right? So I'm basically making this video just kind of like a, hey, how do I get started with this? Okay. And so let's take a look at, I did bring, what did I do with it? Oh, it looks like maybe I closed it already. I did close it. All right. So let me reopen that image real quick here. This is kind of a summary of what you will need. If I can only remember where I put it, right here, open chart. There we go. Right. So there is a website that somebody by the name of Paul Higgins has created, and this guy has put a lot of work into this. Has also support, so you can actually ping him if you have questions. But what we're going to need is from this website right here. Again, details will be in the video description, and we are going to need four tools: the GDAL Open Object REXX, which are two little application that allows set to chart to create the charts for you. Set to chart is the tool that will allow you to create the chart, but it needs those two tools in order to do that. And then we're also going to use SAS Planet, which is the tool that allows you to see many different types of chart sources from the entire world, right? So those are the three. Once you download them, go ahead, install them, all of these. The installation is very simple. Just accept all the default. You do want set to chart and SAS Planet uh, in the same location somewhere. I've been told that they work together much better that way. And of course, typically you put this on your desktop or your C drive or whatever drive you use. I have them on my C drive, but put those two together, right? And that's it. They're small programs, so they don't take a lot of space, and they're reliable. I haven't had no issue with them, and I installed them out of the box. Now, if there are issue that you're having, I will not be the one to be contacted. You can go to Paul's website, and you will see actually it's available directly from within those tools, and you can ask question there. I've been told the guy is very responsive, and so if you see some issues, please address that with them. But I've been able to download and install this no problem, and it's been working fine. Okay, so that is what we're going to need, and obviously OpenCPN. So let's get started. So I'm going to take an area here that I do not have charts for as an example. And one thing I was thinking about is going to the Caribbean. You see here, I have a series of islands, I do not have anything like St. Lucy's and things like that, right? So I want to go ahead and see what I can get for those islands right there. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is open the um, SS Planet. So I do have those on my C drive. And here we go, SS Planet. And we're going to use the executable. I should probably make a shortcut for that one day. There we go, SS Planet exe. Oh, one note, all of those unfortunately are really meant for Windows. So if you are on a Mac, you will need to use Windows on your Mac. And I know there's a tool to do that, right? But if you only run Mac natively, unfortunately, this is not available to you. So keep that in mind, right? This is really geared towards Windows. All right, and so I already last time I opened, this is the area I want, but you can scroll and go wherever you want in the world, right? And take a look at the area you want, which I have here. Now, quite a few menus at the top. One thing that you want to do first is probably go to the Maps menu, and there you will see that there are Google Maps, yeah, I mean all kind of map sources available, so you can explore for that. Uh, and marine maps, of course, typically those are the one I use. And from there, I can choose the Navionics Marine Chart. But you can get all kinds of. So I don't know all the difference between them. Um, so it's going to be up to you to explore. But I found that Marine Maps Navionic Marine Charts actually works pretty good for what I want to do. If you do want satellite imagery, guess what? Google Earth, right? It's all available there, so you can download those as well. Okay, but this is the map type of that I have and that I want. Now, from there on, there are couple of different ways you can select the area that you want to create your map from. The first one is just reading your entire screen. So as you see here on the bottom left, I've got Z8. That's the level of zoom. And as I go back in Z9, 10, and so on, right, you'll see more and more details. And you can go all the way down to like 20. Now, my experience with this, typically, once you zoom to you really too far in, you're really not gaining much advantage, right? And so I found that typically 15 is a good enough zoom area, right? Remember what I said earlier? Any zoom level will require 4 times the amount of data. So, and depending of the region you pick, this could become really massive in file size, right? But again, that's entirely up to you. If you have very good internet, you have tons of disk space, by all means, right? Download whatever you want. But for me, typically, I'm using Z15, and that gives me enough information there, right? Because below that, you will see that the details are start to go away. Some of the names are going to be uh, truncated or overlapping or not even showing at all. So 15 and up is getting a number. Typically, I do 15. Sometimes I'm tempted to go further deep. It depends of the area, right? Do we have a lot of shallows? Do we have a lot of obstacles? Then I may want a higher zoom. But in general, again, I like 15. Right. Now, when you're ready to create your map, you do not need to be at this level. Just explore what you want, remember what zoom level you want, and that's what you are going to use once you're ready to create the chart. So, for example, I can create my chart using this right here. And then when the UI comes up, I can tell the UI what zoom level I want, right? Again, caution. Can I stake everything I have here on my screen? Absolutely. I can go to SA2 chart and say, all right, create a chart for me, and it will take everything it sees on my screen. Do I really need chart detail from out here, from the ocean, or from out here in the ocean? No, unless of course you're sailing a submarine. Then you probably want more detail. But this is definitely not our case with SA3. So downloading all that information will be like way overkill, right? So if you want kind of an overview, low level, because you can have multiple maps of the same thing in OpenCPN and you'll be able to filter through them, then this method here says, yeah, I just want something from the Caribbean. There you go. I want to be able to go and have this from South Florida, including Cuba, right? Haiti and all that stuff, and Venezuela. I want all this as a basic level. And I'm maybe going to download and create my tiles with a zoom level of 10, for example, right? And then additionally, I will then start to want to go down and say, well, now I really want more detail about this area right here. And I'm going to create a separate set of tiles at a different zoom level. And that is all possible. You choose whatever you want. So, well, how do I create a chart if I want this? I want to capture for my screen. Well, let's start launching then the second program, which is set to chart right here. And then there as well, we're going to open that and get the exe file, which is right here. And this is the window here. I already set up. I'm going to tell you what you need and what you don't need. First of all, on this first window here in the main tab, you want to make sure you select what type of chart you want to use, right? Is it Google, from Google Earth or SAS Planet? My source is SAS Planet. Now, if in SAS Planet you decide to download Google Earth Map, you will still use the SAS Planet option because that's your source. Now, if you were working directly with Google Earth, then of course you would want to toggle that. Right? Using SAS Planet, you will have an option for tiles, and that is to create an MB tiles right from your screen. Right? And as you see here, the selection MB tile was already set by default. Always leave the depth units unknown because it doesn't know really the depth, right? What you have there on the image is an image, right? You see those depth 4,000, however those were created, that's it. But are they really real depth? No, it's just a tile representation with those depth on it. So you want to leave depth unknown. One more thing before I forget and move on to the next tab here, your chart location name. With OpenCPN, if you already have set it up, you had to set a location where you want to store all your charts, right? For me, I put them in my documents. So if I go take a quick look at that to my document folder, I will have a folder there called charts. Where are you? Right there. Right, and these are all the group. Right, as you downloaded free charts from OpenCPN, it probably created those groups already. I've created some of my own. It's however you want it. And so this is basically the location where you are going to be saving those files. I've created a folder already called Caribbean, and this is where I'm going to save the files for this exercise. Notice here there is help tutorials, right? So you can click and donate. This is again for Paul. There are specific tutorials if you really want to go deep into it and learn all the functions. That guy really has a lot of things out there. So obviously, feel free to go. If there's an issue with the program, please use the help button and go check with Paul at this time, right? And if you really love it, obviously you can also donate if you feel generous to Paul as well. But off the bat, all of this is free. Okay. On the options, obviously not much to select there. Mine in English, but you have it available in different language. We're not using Google Earth. I'm not. We're using SAS Planet. And in SAS Planet, there's a couple of options there. You want to invoke SAS Planet download, and you want to be able to do split download. This allows you to basically, when you have multiple charts, to kind of separate those. You want to also point where SAS Planet is on. So if you didn't put it on the C drive or whatever, make sure you have this path set correctly. And then the last option here, select multiple zooms for single MB tile charts. So for example, here, if I want an overview at low zoom of this entire area, then I also want to download some more specific areas at a different zoom. This will allow me for the tool to process all those in one shot, right? And finally, a KML option, really nothing there, right? So that's it. That's pretty much the only option you have to worry about for this. So here in the map tool, I can now basically say, okay, I'm getting this from SAS Planet. I am creating MB tiles, right? And I have created this section here. So basically the system will says, okay, from SAS Planet, you want to get the active tiles. And the active tiles is basically whatever you see on your screen. As you zoom in and out, tiles number will automatically update in the background, right? So those are the only option you want. And then you want to go ahead and say create chart. And now it's going to take a minute. It's going to go and process what you have requested. You'll see a bunch of windows depending of what you select popping out and in and everything. Don't worry, that is entirely normal. The more map you select, the more tiles you select, you're going to see more and more of those flashing. There's nothing for you to do. Just let it do its thing. Finally, it's coming. It says, okay, this is what I can offer you for those. The default is 4 tiles for a zoom of 9, which is the default. And then we can go 16 tile at the zoom of 10, 11, or 12. You decide. As an overview, is this good enough, or you want to basically, no, I want as much detail as I want for this overview using this method. I will show you another method where you can actually pick any zoom level, right? All the way to, I believe, 20. But in this, it's kind of limited. This is, well, this is a big area that you selected. So this is what the system offer you. If you find out, no, I want more detail than that, then what you can do is before you create is zoom in, and then this will adapt to this. Or using the next method I will show you is how to create your map. And then just click OK. It will create the map chart for you. I'm not going to do this here because I want to show you the other method to make those maps. So I'm going to create cancel. And it's going to go through a few windows again. and basically canceling and closing those windows that are in the background. And I'm basically waiting for set2 to come back up on my screen, which is right there. It's still working. There we go. Right. And it says here, user cancel, normal, right? That's exactly what I do. Okay. So now let's take a look at the other method. The other method allows you to be much more refined, and that's by using polygon. Basically, what you want to do is go to place marks and you want to add a polygon. Right, click on that, and now just start clicking on your screen where you what you want to capture, and it's like one click at a time. You don't have to drag, just one click at a time. And let's say I want to take this chain of islands right here, so I'm going to click here, one click. Now I want to capture that little one there, two, three, four, and you can of course make these as tight as you want or as wide as you want to capture what you want. Right? And there you go. And that's my polygon. And then you stop clicking. There's no like finish or whatever. Just left mouse click, 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 click around what you want. Right. And then of course you can adjust those points, drag them or cancel them and start all over. Right. But at the end you end up with a polygon. And now the idea is to only create a chart for what's included in this polygon. I don't need details here. I don't need details there, right? And so that is what I'm missing from my free charts. I already have Puerto Rico and so on, so I don't have to worry about those. This is what I'm missing, and this is what I want. So once your polygon is set, there is a little window here with a save. And then you will want to click and save that. And you want to basically give it a name. And here I'm going to call it Caribbean. And you can make it as fancy as you want. You can also set categories if you want. I don't even bother with that. There's really nothing what you want to do. One thing also is for your polygon, you want to make sure that you have saved a place for it. And I put my polygon within set2 charts, right? So if I'm sorry, SAS Planet. So if I go to SAS Planet, you see I have a folder here that I created. And this is where I'm saving my polygon files, because you're going to have to retrieve that polygon in order to create your chart in the next step. Right? So there we go. That's what I want. And I'm going to say, okay. Okay, now that we have saved the polygon, I can go back to Placemaker and Place Mark Manager. Now, this lists all the polygons that I have created previously, but you see here, Caribbean right now. If you click the export button here, it's going to export everything that's listed there. Or typically what I like to do is select the one that I want and then basically use the save, which does the same thing. But this one at the top will only do selected placemaker. So physically clicking on this, right? Versus this guy right here will basically address the full export one, right? So either method you want to use, you can obviously do. So we'll save here. We save this as a KML file. You have other choice, but I was told that this is the more reliable format. So we're going to leave that at that. And then where do I want to save it? I will basically put it in a Polygon folder. I have created this folder in my SAS Planet underscore gday2, and then a polygon. You can have this polygon folder wherever you want, but I like to keep it all together, so I create that polygon folder there. And then, of course, the name of the file that you want to create. And then here, I'm going to say run. And then once that is done, uh, I can close this and go back to my SAT2 program. And in here now, I want to make sure that I still have SAS Planet selected, MB tile. Make sure you do not have this tile selected. This is just in the case you are using tiles directly from SAS Planet like we did the first time around. You're not creating a polygon. Because we're creating a polygon, we must remove this selection and now open this window to the right. And here we can now go to the polygon folder, right, and select the one that you want to use. In this case, I'm going to use the Caribbean KML and click Finish. I can change this name if I wanted to here, otherwise it's just going to use the name that's listed. And then just click OK. Now, you can process more than one if you want to, so you can keep on clicking Add. I'm typically only processing one at a time, so I'm okay with that. I'm okay with the name, so I'm just going to click OK. And now that's going to start processing the file. Here, as you see, it gives me option from zoom 10 all the way to zoom 24. I can generate more than one zoom if I wanted to. Again, more data to download, more files, longer it will take, and so on and so forth. I'm happy, as I said earlier, with 15, so I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to click OK. And now the tool in the background is going to start processing those files for me. And depending again on what you select, your zoom and everything, it will probably take some time. And so I'm going to let this run. Again, you will see several windows popping up, closing, and all that stuff. There's nothing for you to do. Just let it go. Obviously, you can see the process here of those tiles being created. Right? It tells you how long this is going to take. Again, all depending on your internet and everything. And it will also tell you the process right here, right? You see this arrow keeping it going toward the right. So it is processing. So I'm going to let this go and then I'll pick you up back once this is done. All right. So this has been completed. All the windows have been closed. And as you see here, that this was successfully created. It took about 30 minutes to create the amount of data I have selected in the system, and it did put it in my charts form. So now at this point, um, I basically need to go to OpenCPN. So I'm done with this. I can go ahead and close this up. There we go. And then go to the settings in OpenCPN. And you want to go to charts. And these are the folders that you may already have or not, right? And you see here, I've got the South Pacific, West Africa. Now, if my file was saved in one of those, all I have to do, if this group already exists, is to click on Scan Charts and Update Database. It will scan through those and see if there is any new files that were created. In my case, I actually created a new group called Caribbean. So I want to go and add directory and then navigate to your chart, and select folder. And it will then add this group. As you see, then the option is grayed out. So typically you want to go ahead and click apply. And then once that is done, we should have our chart that was created. Right? And as you see it, it's right there. And so now if I go ahead and zoom in, oh, I didn't click on making that live. There we go. And here well, here are my islands. And if I do zoom in, then these are basically the details I got from the 15 zoom. Again, this is where you're going to have to choose. Do you want something more precise than that? And you may have to go to 17, 18. But for me, typically, as you see here, I've got enough information to see the depth and to see the lights and things. But if you want to get something more precise and really, hey, I need to navigate through this, then getting a map at the higher zoom is probably something you want, right? So this entire map here took me 30 minutes, right? And I just did this as an exercise. If I were to say, hey, I have an event or whatever, and I need to sail to this island specifically, I would probably go ahead and create a new one at a higher zoom if needed. But as you see here, this to me has enough detail, right? Uh, it's wide enough. I can see my depth. I can see where all the lights and the names are. So I'm typically happy with that. Okay. And that's it, folks. That's you have now your own map. And then, of course, in the group, if there are map that you don't use, you can always basically remove those groups. Let's say, hey, I don't use South Pacific or West Africa or any of those. You can remove, select it. OpenCPN will then obviously open a little faster. But right now with everything I get, it's actually not bad at all. It takes maybe like a 2-3 seconds for it to load, so it is not bad. Now, looking one more thing I want to show you though is when you look at the chart file that we just created, come on, documents, and then charts, Caribbean, and we see this is 307,000 kilobyte. Right? So it's becoming somewhat important, right? So if you do a lot of maps and everything, right? Again, something for you to consider, right? But other than that, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed that content. Please subscribe and click the like button if that's helping you. And hope to see you on the water soon. Papi Bazooka, signing off.